Hello everyone! Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Nandito na naman tayo sa bahay ni Teacher Rocky. Ayan, so andito na naman tayo dahil nga sa resulta ng ating previous video. So parang ang mangyayari talaga nito ay makagagawa uli ako ng PMES. Anyway, uumpisahan na natin ngayon, okay? But before that, pinangako ko lahat ng mga nag-comment sa ating last video, i-shout out natin this time. So unahin ko muna si Ma'am Gina Palomata. Sabi niya, I am happy you're back, Teacher Rocky. And then si Ma'am Marita de Guzman, yes po Teacher Rocky, big help po. And then si Juvie Vlog, sabi niya yes po. And then si Kids Digital Technology, sabi niya yes po, please. May kasama pang tatlong pakiusap. Si Ma'am Divina Claro, yes po Teacher Rocky. Si Ma'am Elisa Mijares, yes. Si Ma'am Mylene Fortus, sabi niya yes ma'am, great help sa amin. And then si Rama Amerol. Sabi niya, yes po, Teacher Rocky, sayang po, may PM pa po ako sa inyo, nasa New Zealand na po pala kayo. I'm happy for you po. Thank you so much po sa inyong lahat na nag-comment sa ating previous video. So, ito na nga, gagawa na tayo ngayon ng ating video para sa ating PMES. Una sa lahat, we will try to walk through the DepEd Memorandum 089 Series of 2025. Pag-aaralan natin, ipapaliwanag natin para mas maintindihan natin ang paggagawa ng ating PMES para sa school year na ito. Okay, so today we're going to do a walkthrough of the DepEd Memorandum number 89 series of 2025, which was released in October 1, 2025. So this is entitled Guidelines on the Multi-Year Performance Management and Evaluation System for Teachers from School Years 2025 to 2026 up to 2027 to 2028. So this is a 3-year. That's why it's called a multi-year guidelines. So we're not going to focus on the introduction. We know that very well, the purpose of this memorandum, the purpose of this guidelines. So that's what it said around there. We'll focus on the important matters from these guidelines, okay? So the guidelines will go to the rationale. The Department of Education, or the DepEd, has continuously enhanced its teachers' performance management system to ensure alignment with its organizational goals and improve teaching and learning outcomes. Through DepEd Memorandum number 008 series of 2023, this was the multi-year guidelines for results-based performance management system, or the RPMS PPST for teachers. So, after that, another guidelines was introduced. This was in number 2. However, in July 2024, DepEd suspended the implementation of the RPMS PPST, and through DepEd Memorandum number 37, series of 2024, entitled Creation of Task Force Results-Based Performance Management System and Teachers' Workload. So, it comprehensively reviewed the system. This was the memorandum that ensures the review of the system to streamline performance processes and requirements. So therefore, in February 2025, the suspension. So through the DepEd Memorandum number 37, the RPMS was temporarily suspended. So in February 2025, the suspension was lifted through DepEd Memorandum number 17 series of 2025. This is the interim guidelines for the Department of Education Performance Management and Evaluation System for Teachers in the school year 2024 to 2025. So ito yung introduction ng PMES. Ito yung linabas noong February last year. Building on these efforts, this multi-year PMES for teachers is designed to strengthen teacher performance management ensuring a more effective and sustainable system that directly contributes to improving teaching and learning outcomes. So ito na nga, lumabas na nga yung multi-year PMES. After that interim guidelines, which was the introduction to PMES, ito na yung multi-year PMES, which will be our guidelines to creating our PMES from this school year up to the next 2 more school years. So the scope and coverage, the guidelines applies to all public school teachers, that is teachers 1 to 7, master teachers 1 to 5, including teachers in the alternative learning system, madrasa program, special needs education program, and the special science education program. So all teachers in public schools are covered with these guidelines. Number 3, the PMES framework and cycle. So this is the PMES cycle for teachers, which is not very different with the RPMS cycle. Halos parehas lang din. We have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 phases of the PMES cycle for teachers. Isa-isahin natin dito. So the performance management shall follow this timeline. For phase 1, this includes a performance planning and commitment. And this will be conducted from the first month, from 1 month before to 1 month after the official start of classes. Okay? 1 month before the start of the classes until 1 month after the official start of classes. Dun nangyayari yung phase 1 natin, which is the performance planning and commitment. Phase 2, which is the performance monitoring and coaching, will be conducted throughout the school year, from the official start up to the official end of the school year. And then we have phase 3, performance review and evaluation. This consists of mid-year review and assessment, which will be conducted 5 months after the official opening of classes. So in the middle of school year, kaya siya tinawag na mid-year review assessment. And then another one is the year-end performance review and evaluation, which shall be conducted after the last day of classes until before the first day of the classes. So during the break, after the end of school year, until before the next school year will open. And then phase 4, the performance rewarding and development planning, this shall be conducted after the last day of classes and before the first day of classes of the succeeding school year. So parehas lang ang phase 3 and phase 4. That happens during the break between the end of school year and the start of the next school year. So the annual timeline, so this is the timeline for PMES for teachers. So yung phase 1, ano ba yung mga ginagawa dito? We have the performance standards and competencies assess alignment. So the tools that we're going to use is the IPCRF, which shall be done by the ratees, both the ratees and the raters. We also have the self-assessment, where we are going to use the self-assessment tool, which will be used by the ratees. Ang gagawa nito ay mga ratees. We also have the initial individual development planning or the initial IDP. Ang gagamitin natin dito is the IDP form. Tayong mga ratees ang gagawa nito. And then we also have the performance monitoring and coaching planning. We use a tool, instructional supervisory plan, or the ISP. This is done with the ratees together with their raters. So all these tasks and activity for phase 1 starts from 1 month before the start of the school year up to 1 month after the start of the school year. And then we'll go to phase 2. Phase 2 covers the classroom observation. This is where we do classroom observation 1 and 2. So for the classroom observation 1, we have our tool is the COT, of course, and this shall be used by the raters. So we do this on the first and second quarter. Ang COT, ang classroom observation 1 is within the first and second quarter only. So we also have the frequent short period and walk-through observation. Mamaya ipapaliwanag natin anong ibig sabihin nito. Ginagawa din yan ng mga raters. So we also have the regular monitoring and provision of technical assistance on practices that support the teaching and learning processes. The tool that we use here is the Performance Monitoring and Coaching Form, or the PMCF, which shall be used by both the ratees and the raters. And also, we have the accomplishment and annotation of documents for rating demonstrations of the non-classroom observable indicators. So, dito nag-accomplish na tayo, naggagawa ng annotation sa lahat ng mga documents na gagamitin natin para sa mga non-classroom observation indicator. So, ginagamit na dito, of course, ang ating PMES tools. We follow the PMES tools, which shall be used both by ratees and raters. So, lahat tong tatlo na to would happen regularly from the first quarter up to the fourth quarter of the school year. And then, we have the full period classroom observation number 2 kasi dalawa yung classroom observation natin, di ba? So, we also use the COT. This is to be used by the ratees and the raters. And yung COT, yung classroom observation 2 natin happens within the third and fourth quarter. Okay? So, that's the phase 2. We'll move on to the phase 3. Phase 3, we do the mid-year review and assessment. So, we have the IPCRF as a tool, which will be done by the raters and the ratees. And this is in the mid of the year, so that's 5 months after the first day of the school. And then we also have the year-end performance review, where we also use the IPCRF, used by the raters, ratees, and the approving authorities. Kasama na dito sa ating phase 3 yung approving authorities. So, this is done after the last day of the class hanggang sa bago mag-umpisa yung susunod na school year. Ganon din naman yung ating phase 4, performance rewarding and development planning. This is the finalization of the IDP. So, we use the IPCRF IDP done by the ratees, and this is due after the last day of the current school year up to before the start of the next school year. So, isa-isahin natin tong phases ng ating PMES cycle. So, sa performance planning and commitment, that's phase 1. This sets the initial stage. Ito yung umpisa ng paggagawa natin ng PMES. Ano ba yung ginagawa dito? We use the professional standards and competencies alignment. So, dito kinakausap ng rater at ang mga teachers o ang kanyang mga ratees, what are the expected professional standards and competencies para sa kanilang performance management and evaluation system. At nagbibigay din sila ng guidance kung paano natin i-align ang mga expectations with our actual teaching practice. So, under this, we have the professional standards. So, under the PPST, teachers shall be expected to perform and demonstrate the PPST indicators relevant to their role. Ano ba yung mga position and their stages? Ito na nga yung sinasabi nating bago dito sa ating PMES ngayon, no, di ba? So, this is the table for the corresponding PPST career stage for teacher's position. So, yung mga teacher 1 to 3, the career stage is beginning towards proficient. Teacher 4 to 7, they are the proficient. Master teachers 1 to 2, that's highly proficient. And the master teachers 3 up to 5, they are considered or categorized as distinguished. So, teachers who are under the beginning towards proficient teacher category are expected to have gained the qualifications recognized for entry into the profession. So, these are the teachers 1, 2, and 3. So, teachers who are classified as proficient teachers naman or the career stage 2 are those who are professionally independent in the application of skills vital to the teaching and learning process. So, hindi na sila yung nasa beginning or entry level. Nandun na sila sa professionally independent level. So, ito yung mga teachers 4, 5, 6, and 7. Ang master teachers naman who are classified as highly proficient teachers are those who consistently display high levels of performance in their teaching practice. So these are the master teacher 1 and 2. Yung master teachers naman who are classified as distinguished teachers, these are those who embody the highest standard for teaching grounded in global best practices. So, ito na yung pinakamataas na category ng mga teachers. So, this is Master Teacher 3, 4, and 5. Okay? For each school year, there shall be a total of 14 PPST indicators for Part 1, Professional Standards composed of classroom observable and non-classroom observable indicators. So, lahat ng category of teachers will have 14 PPST indicators every school year. For purposes of PMES, teachers belonging to beginning toward proficient teachers and proficient teachers categories shall adopt the indicators under the career stage 2. Okay, yung mga PPST indicators parehas lang sa beginning towards proficient and proficient. So let us see, ito yung table, ano. So this is the PPST indicators distributed across school years for beginning towards proficient and proficient teachers. So if you would notice, parehas lang ang PPST indicators na susundin natin for our PMES both from beginning towards proficient and proficient. So bakit pinaghiwalay pa sila? Parehas lang naman ng mga indicators ang gagamitin natin. Sasagutin natin yan dito sa banda rito, ha. Pansamantala, let us look at the PPST indicators distributed across school years for highly proficient teachers. So ito yung mga susundin na PPST indicators ng mga highly proficient teachers or master's teacher 1 to 2. Ito naman yung para sa mga distinguished teachers or yung mga master teachers 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So, ayan yung mga susundin nilang PPST indicators. Meron pa tayong tinatawag na core competencies at saka yung leadership competencies. As expected of all employees, including teachers in DepEd, the demonstration of core competencies shall be assessed anchored on the Public Act No. 6713, otherwise known as the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. So, being one of the public employees, official and employees, we have to comply with the core competencies, and this includes self-management, professionalism and ethics, results focus, teamwork, service orientation, gender sensitivity. Part 2B, leadership competencies. So these are for the teachers with supervisory functions such as master teachers and department heads. So the leadership competencies include leading people, people development, and people performance management. So we'll go to the next one, teacher self-assessment and development planning. So this is still part of our phase 2, phase 1. So, teachers as ratings shall assess their own capability. Ito naman yung ginagawa natin every year, yung ating self-assessment. So, tayo ang nag-a-assess para sa ating sariling capabilities and areas of improvement. So, a complete self-assessment covering all 37 PPST indicators shall be conducted once every 3 years. Okay? So, yung ating self-assessment is a complete self-assessment covering all 37 PPST. Yung 37 PPST natin, yun yung hinati-hati, diba, sa loob ng 3 taon. So, sa self-assessment, magkakasama silang lahat. So, this serves as a comprehensive reflection and baseline for long-term professional growth. The next full assessment shall be conducted only after the 3-year cycle is completed. Okay? So, pag natapos na yung 3-year cycle, saka lang tayo magagawa ng self-assessment. Okay? So, for newly hired, the full assessment covering all 37 PPST indicators shall be accomplished upon assumption to duty. Okay? So, while the full assessment is done once every 3 years, the conduct of annual individual development planning based on the focus PPST indicators shall still be required at the end of the performance cycle. So, kahit na every 3 years ang ating self-assessment, yung ating IDP o yung individual development planning shall be conducted every school year. So, based on the result of the full assessment, the ratee shall prepare a multi-year individual development plan. So, based sa kanyang ginawang full assessment, doon siya makakabuo ng kanyang every year na individual development plan. Okay? So, performance monitoring and coaching planning, ito yung trabaho ng rater. They will prepare instructional supervisory plan o yung ISP, guided by the IDP ng mga teacher na hawak nila. The schedule of conduct of full period classroom observation shall be indicated sa ISP. Nakalagay doon yung schedule na pinagkasunduan ng rater at saka ng ratee. The IS plan shall serve as a guiding document in phase 2. Gagamitin to para sa phase 2. So, sa performance commitment, ratees shall commit to deliver and agree, of course, to be rated on the attainment of the improved learner performance target and the PPST. Performance monitoring and coaching. Okay, nasa phase 2 pa rin tayo. This focuses on the continuous tracking of teachers' progress. So, yun yung performance monitoring. Kikinikip track nila yung performance ng teacher. So, this shall be conducted through the following. Letter A, formative assessment and regular provisions of technical assistance, coaching, and monitoring. P, full period classroom observation, dalawa nga ang ginagawa natin, di ba? And C, accomplishment and annotation of documents for rating the demonstration for non-classroom observable indicators. So, tatlo yun. Isa-isahin natin. Ano ba yung formative assessment? Ang formative assessment, frequent short period and walkthrough observation to provide continuous support to teachers in enhancing their effectiveness in instruction and to address gaps identified during full period classroom observation. Frequent short period and walkthrough observations, that is approximately 10 to 15 minutes, shall be conducted as a non-rated formative and developmental approach. So, bukod dun sa ating dalawang full period classroom observation, the rater should also come and do frequent short period and walkthrough observation. Yung pupunta lang sila, unannounced, 10 to 15 minutes lang. Yun lang. So, yung frequency and duration, short period lang yan. Ang purpose is primarily to provide constructive feedback. Collaboration, this is collaboration by both the trainee and the trainer. So, ito is a follow-up. After each observation, a brief or briefing, okay? Ipa-follow up ni rater kung ano yung naging observation niya. And of course, this should be documented at the same time. Number 38, regular monitoring and provision of technical assistance on practices that support the teaching and learning process. So, all throughout the year, the school year, dapat may regular monitoring and provision of technical assistance ang ating mga rater towards their ratees. And the full period classroom observation naman, this is PPST-based assessment, okay? So, meron nga tayong dalawang full period classroom observation for each school year. So, hindi na to yung, okay, hanggang dito lang, okay na yan, okay na yan. Kailangang full period ma-observe ni rater. So, yung unang full period is within first and second quarter. Yung pangalawang full period is within the third and fourth quarter. So, ito yung mga schedule and distribution of PPST na classroom observable indicator. Ano? So, dito para sa proficient, beginning toward proficient and proficient teacher, meron tayong 6 sa 2025 to 2026. Next school year, 6 pa rin. And for the last school year, 5 na lang. Ganun din naman para sa mga highly proficient, 6 ngayon, next year 6, susunod 5 na lang. And also for the distinguished teachers. So yun yung mga PPST indicator na gagamitin natin for our classroom observable indicators. Okay? So the corresponding COT rubric, dito lang tayo magkakaiba-iba. Parehas lang ng classroom observable indicators ang beginning towards proficient and proficient. Pero, magkakaiba-iba sila sa rubric levels. Okay? So, sa COT ng teachers 1 to 3 o beginning towards proficient, it is only from level 2 to 6. Ang proficient naman, level 3 to 7, while yung highly proficient, level 4 to 8, and then distinguished teacher, level 5 to 9. Makikita nyo yan dun sa COT o yung classroom observation tool. Okay? Makikita nyo yan doon, yung mga rating level. So, this is the list of PPST indicators for master teachers, highly proficient, and distinguished teachers. So, sa every time na magkakaroon ng classroom observation, merong pre-observation. So, the ratee and the rater shall agree on the schedule. The schedule must be set at least 3 working days before the classroom observation. Okay? In case of unforeseen circumstances that are beyond the control of the school, concerned school may be allowed to deviate from the prescribed timeline. Okay? The default, of course, this is always a face-to-face observation. Ano? Depende na lang sa mga uncontrollable circumstances. Ano? So, meron din tayong pre-observation conference, kinakausap ni rater, si ratee, to review the classroom observation tool. Ipapaliwanag ni rater ang tungkol sa classroom observation tool so that aware si ratee kung paano siya nire-rate. Submission of lesson plan at least 1 day before the scheduled classroom observation isasubmit kay observer. Observers are discouraged from providing technical assistance on the teacher ratee's lesson plan that will be used in the actual evaluative rated observation. Hindi na siya magbibigay ng technical assistance pag nag-submit na si ratee ng lesson plan. Okay? Actual observation. So the actual observation should be full classroom hours, full class hours, okay? So during the classroom observation, the ratee shall deliver the lesson. For purposes of rating the performance, classroom observation shall be done for the entire class period. The rater shall adhere to the following protocols: use the observation notes form, sit on the available chairs. For multiple observers, they shall avoid engaging in any form of discussion. Hindi pwedeng mag-usap-usap ang mga observer. Avoid giving any feedback on the teacher while he or she is doing the classroom observation. Okay? And then thank the teacher and leave the room immediately. Tapos, yung pagbibigay ng feedback is on the post-observation. So, yung individual rating, ipapaliwanag ni rater. Kung marami ang nag-rate, so meron tayong inter-observer agreement form. And again, hindi yan ina-average. Pinag-uusapan na kung magkakaiba sila ng rating, pag-uusapan nila which is more appropriate. Hindi nila ina-average yan, okay? Accomplishment and annotation of documents for non-classroom observable indicators. So, dapat nagko-complete na tayo at nag-gather na tayo ng mga documents at linalagyan na ng annotation para sa ating mga non-classroom observable indicators. Pagtuunan natin ng pansin to number 60 Ratees are expected to promptly show or provide evidence and documentation of the demonstration and achievement of the objectives. Yung sinasabi natin yung non-classroom observable indicators. Such evidence and documents may be cross-cutting and targeting multiple objectives, which means that there is no need to duplicate copies of the documents per objective. Kung ginamit na natin yung document na to from another objective at gagamitin uli natin to another objective, hindi na daw natin kailangang mag-duplicate ng copy. And very important, naka-bold letters pa to, no portfolio for performance assessments shall be collected. Ito na naman tayo. No portfolio na naman, nakalagay na naman dito, malinaw. So, at the end of the day, hihingan ulit tayo ng portfolio. Ano na ba ang nangyayari? Bakit ganon? Ba't hindi tayo sumusunod sa guidelines? Ganito yung nangyayari last time, di ba? No portfolio for performance assessment shall be collected. Pagdating sa dulo, nag-collect din naman sila. Rater. Anyway, we'll proceed to performance review and evaluation. So, ito na yung phase 3. Sa performance review and evaluation, it only includes dalawa, mid-year review and assessment at saka yung end of school year assessment. So, sa mid-year review and assessment, tandaan natin to. Mid-year review and assessment of professional standards. In support of continuous professional development and performance improvement, the mid-year review and assessment serves as a formative evaluation that allows ratees and raters to reflect on their progress. So, and identify areas for growth based on performance during the first 2 quarters of the school year. Kasi nga, ang mid-year review ay ginagawa 5 months after the first day. So, more or less, nakatapos na tayo ng 2 quarters, kaya tayo nagre-review. How have we gone? Ano na nangyari from our first 2 quarters of the year? Kaya may mid-year review. Sa mid-year review, the mid-year review and assessment of classroom observable indicators shall focus on the teacher's performance during the first full period observation. So, isa pa lang ang ating classroom observation dito kasi mid-year pa lang tayo, di ba? This focuses on quality and timeliness. Mid-year review and assessment of professional standards, the non-classroom observable indicators. During the mid-year review and assessment, a mid-year review of the ratees' progress of non-classroom observable indicators shall be conducted. So at the middle of the school year, magkakandak na rin tayo ng pag-a-assess ng ating mga non-classroom observable indicator. Kasi from the beginning naman, ipapaliwanag ni rater ano ba yung mga kailangan natin, ano ba yung mga objective natin. So by this time, dapat meron na rin tayong na-collect kahit papano ng mga non-classroom observable indicator ng mga MOVs. Submission of physical portfolio is not required. Inulit na naman sa number 68. However, to support mid-year and year-end assessment, teachers are encouraged to engage in self-monitoring and maintain a personal record of accomplishments related to non-classroom observable indicators. So, wala daw submission ng physical portfolio pero dapat meron tayong kopya. Ang bawat isang ratee, bawat isang teacher may kopya tayo ng ating mga MOVs for these non-classroom observable indicators. Mid-year review and assessment of core and leadership competencies. So sa mid-year review, meron tayong tinatawag na core competencies at saka leadership competencies. Yung core competencies, lahat ng teacher yon. Makikita natin yon sa ating template ng mid-year review. Yung leadership competencies naman are for master teachers. Diba? Sila yung mga nagiging leader natin. Number 70, DepEd Competencies Rating Scales. Okay? So, sa bawat competency natin, kaparehas pa rin ang RPMS natin dati. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Outstanding, very satisfactory, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, at saka poor. Ang ating year-end performance review and assessment, ito na yung gumagawa na tayo ng IPCRF. So here we have to review actual accomplishments and results for the whole school year. Puntahan natin yung computation of rating. Bawat indicator from objective 1 to 14, that's 6.786% each. That's a total of 95% for all 14 objectives. So, meron tayong mga classroom observable indicators. Ito yung ating transmutation table. Dahil nga ang beginning teacher, 2 to 6, proficient 3 to 7, highly proficient 4 to 8, and distinguished 5 to 9. At andyan yung kanyang PMES rating equivalent. Now, for repeating classroom observable indicators, yung mga classroom observable indicators natin na meron sa COT1 at saka COT2, ina-average lang natin yung score. Tapos, equivalent PMES rating, and then we have the PMS rating for quality. Okay? So, ganyan ang pagko-compute. Sa mga non-classroom observable indicators, ito ay nire-rate according to quality, efficiency, and timeliness. So, meron din tayong core competencies na kasama sa ating mid-year review at saka sa ating mid-year review. So, core competencies for all teachers, leadership competencies are for master teachers. Computation of final rating, the same thing as katulad din ng ating RPMS. Meron tayong outstanding, VS, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, and poor. Sa phase 4, performance rewarding and development planning. Okay? So, nandito na yung recognition and rewards. The final performance ratings of teachers shall be used as basis for recognition. So, yung result ng ating IPCRF shall be used as basis of for recognition, rewards, and further development opportunities. Diba? Ginagamit nga natin yung IPCRF for applying for promotion o kaya ay other development opportunities. Okay? Finalization of individual development plans. Dito rin nagaganap yan sa ating phase 4. Pina-finalize na natin ang ating IDP, individual development plan, together with our IPCRF. Okay? The rater approving authority matrix. Okay, ito ipaliwanag lang natin. Para sa mga head teachers na may teaching load, school head ang rater. Approving authority, assistant school division superintendent. Master teachers sa elementary, junior high school, senior high school, school head ang rater, parehas pa rin ang approving authority. For teachers in elementary, ang rater ay master teacher, approving authority, school head. Ganon din naman sa teacher sa elementary na walang master teacher, school head ang rater, at assistant schools division to superintendent ang approving authority. So, ganon. Pag may master teacher yung school, elementary, junior high school, and senior high school, master teacher ang rater. School head ang approving authority. Pag walang master teacher ang school, ang school head ang ang rater, tapos Assistant Schools Division Superintendent ang approving authority. Okay? Ganun din naman yan last time. So, this is about it, ang ating PMES for 2025 to 2026. These are the tools and forms that we will be using to accomplish our PMES. Okay? Okay, so sana po ay naintindihan natin, mas nadagdagan ang ating kaalaman sa paggagawa ng PMES through this walkthrough video. Sa ating susunod na video, ipapaliwanag natin ang lahat ng mga PMES tools na gagamitin natin, okay? So nasa annex yan ng ating DepEd Memorandum. And kung gusto nyong maka-avail ng free template ng mga tools na to, okay? Itong mga tools muna natin ang ating ipapamigayan ng free. We can give you free templates, ha? Yung ating mga MRF, media review form, yung ating mga PMES tools, yung ating mga classroom observation tools, at lahat ng mga nasa annex, yung mga tools na gagamitin natin para dito sa PMES na to. I can give you free templates of these tools. Ang gagawin nyo lang, of course, you have to send message sa ating Facebook account. Alam nyo na ating Facebook account, Teacher Rocky. But you have to make sure na subscribe kayo dito sa ating YouTube channel at saka naka-follow kayo sa ating Facebook account. Then, you request it on our Facebook account sa ating Messenger, Facebook Messenger account. Mag-send lang kayo ng request for whatever tools that you need. Ibibigay ko po yun ng free. And then, on our next video, abangan natin ang pagpapaliwanag ng ating mga PMES tools, okay? And other annexes, other documents na kailangan natin sa pagbuo ng ating PMES 2025 to 2026. Ayan. So, I'll see you again on our next video. Abangan natin ang pagpapaliwanag ng ating mga PMES tools. I'll see you again on our next video. Keep on smiling and stay happy and kind to everyone. Bye!